Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one. So today we're going to talk about paternity fraud, and they say that real heroes don't wear capes, and that is true because there's a guy named Carnell Smith, and he got divorced and then found out that his kid wasn't his, and the court ordered him to keep paying child support. And he brought the DNA test to the judge and was like, "Hey, look, man, why am I still paying child support?" The judge said, "Well, if you don't like it, change the law." So you know what? That's exactly what Carnell Smith did. He actually made them change the law in Georgia. So let's jump into this clip here and we can see his story. Let's go.
Major triumph in his 3-year quest to protect men from paying child support for children they didn't father. Last year, he helped change Georgia law, and today his work was put to the test with his own future on the line. Fox 5's Lisa Crane has the story.
Okay, the first case is Tony Odom versus Carnell Smith.
But it was a case that didn't make it into open court. After years of fighting, a judge today ruled Carnell Smith was not responsible to pay child support to a child he did not father. Almost 3 years ago, a DNA test proved that the then 11-year-old girl he had thought was his own was not his child.
Took him 3 years, and the girl was 11 when he found out the baby wasn't his. Man.
But in Georgia, that didn't mean the end of his own obligation to financially support that child. Smith turned his case into a crusade and helped shape paternity fraud legislation that passed last year.
Bam. Look at that. Signed, sealed, delivered, guys. My hero.
Today, his case was the first to test the new law, and in chambers, the judge terminated his parental rights and obligations.
I feel this is a major victory for defrauded victims everywhere.
So you see that now he gave away his parental rights and no more child support too, all because of his own doing. Man, this guy is a hero.
There were a lot of people watching this case, like Reverend Randall Robinson. Through DNA testing, he discovered that some of the children he had always thought were his own weren't.
In a previous marriage, and 2 out of the 3 children are not mine.
So this guy's a reverend. He was married, and he found out that 2 out of his 3 kids aren't his because of his lying, cheating wife. Man.
At that time, I still was ordered by the court to pay child support.
And this is the first real test of this new legislation, but it appears right now that even after a man proves he is not the biological father, he must still come to court to end his child support obligation.
So basically, they're saying that instead of it being the DNA test, child support over, you still have to take the test and have a court date and have the court decide.
Smith says there's still work to be done in Georgia.
We're going to ask that there be a truth in pregnancy disclosure, that we believe that mothers who know there's more than one person that could be the child's father should be required to make that declaration before the court in the very first hearing.
In DeKalb County, Lisa Crane, Fox 5 News.
So I agree with what he said there last, but I think that there should be mandatory DNA testing for all births in the United States. But that's just me. Now, here's another clip real fast, and this is when he was on the Dr. Phil show. So, like I said, he's been doing this for about 10 years, so props to him.
All right, here's a question today. Should a man ever be forced to pay child support for another man's baby? Now, Carnell Smith calls himself Man for Justice and says that he is tired of seeing women fraudulently trap men and get away with what he calls the perfect crime.
Yeah, that's right. Until they do mandatory DNA tests or change the law, paternity fraud is the perfect crime.
Take a look.
Paternity fraud is a big problem. It has already happened to over 1 million men. In my case of paternity fraud, my ex-girlfriend called me one day and told me that she was pregnant. And I told her, congratulations. I hope you and your baby's daddy will be very happy. But then she says, but you're the father. I paid child support for 11 years before I found out the child
11 years.
wasn't mine. I was cuckolded. Cuckolding is the term that the cuckoo bird lays its egg in another bird's nest and lets another bird raise its young.
I got 2 DNA tests.
Once I found out that the child wasn't mine, I contacted my lawyer and says, I'm not going to pay her another dime. My ex-girlfriend asked the court specifically to put me in jail. and make me pay the money that I had not paid.
You guys gotta watch out for these girls in these streets, man. You hear that? She said she asked him specifically to put him in jail.
That infuriated me. When I went to court, I felt that at that point I should be able to win my case with 2 DNA tests. I didn't lie here. We can prove I didn't lie, and we can prove who did. And the judge says it's my fault that I didn't find out sooner.
Because you got some knucklehead judge that's collecting a percentage of the child support that they collect. That's crazy.
It's pay or go to jail. That was a bit hard to take. I appealed that to the Georgia Court of Appeals. They refused to let me appeal it. I refer to paternity fraud as the perfect crime because the victim gets blamed for the conduct of the other party. I never felt like giving up the fight. I was very effective in advocating the position for the Georgia paternity fraud victims. I ended up getting a bill that frees men who've been falsely accused of a pregnancy they didn't commit. My tagline is, if the genes don't fit, you must acquit.
So you can see he was on Dr. Phil. He told his whole story. And guys, he actually got the law changed, So he actually has a consulting business where if you're going through this as a guy, he can help kind of steer you in the right direction. So you guys check out his YouTube channel. I'll drop the link there. And you guys, that's it for today. You guys stay safe. I'm out of here.